Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about reproductive system of a hen. Okay, for those who don't know basics, I am going to discuss some basics. Okay, if we take this is an egg. Eggs are basically two types. Okay, fertilized and non-fertilized. These are also called infertilized. Okay, if we break the egg, we can see the middle part, yellow part, which is yellow in color, and some white fluid around that. This egg also, if we break this egg, we will see some yellow part and some white fluid. This yellow part is called yolk, 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 and this white part is called albumen. Albumen. Okay, the middle part, yellow part, is called yolk, and the white part, white liquid surrounding the yolk, is called albumen. Now, if the sperm cell fertilizes the yolk, then it will give a fertilized egg. If the sperm cell didn't fertilize the yolk, it will give a unfertilized or infertilized egg. If the hen hatches this fertilized egg, it will give a chick. If the hen hatches this non-fertilized egg, there will be no chick because there is no fertilization. The reproductive system of a hen consists of an ovary and an oviduct. Okay, this is the ovary and this is the oviduct. The yolk material, which I told you earlier, the yolk material forms in this ovary. The yolk material forms in this ovary, and the rest of the egg forms when the yolk is passing through this oviduct. First, the yolk is formed. This system, the reproductive system of hen, rests to the back body wall. It rests to the back body wall and just to the left of the spinal cord. Okay, it is located in this area location. It has 5 distinct sections: infundibulum, magnum, isthmus, shell gland, and vagina. This is the infundibulum, the first part, and the second part is the magnum, and the third part is the isthmus and the shell gland and vagina. The yolk forms here, the yolk material forms here, and the rest of the egg forms when the yolk is passing through this oviduct. The length of the oviduct is generally 24 to 25 inches. The reproductive system of a hen can be clearly understood by 3D animations, by 3D graphics, than 2D explaining in the board. There is a video by Auburn University. In that video, you can clearly understood this system. They explained this video by 3D graphics. Link to that video I will provide in the description. The first part in the reproductive system of a hen is the ovary. The ovaries are located at the dorsal part of the abdominal cavity and the forend of the kidney. Okay, these ovaries contain small tissue balls. You can see these tissue balls. These tissue balls fill with yolk material and grow. Where does the yolk material come to these tissue balls in the ovary? Okay, when the hen eats food, proteins, actually this is wrong spelling, TINS. In previous videos also I wrote this spelling wrong. You can correct actually. Proteins. Proteins, fats and water. Proteins, fats and water from the food which the hen eats are carried to the ovaries by the bloodstream from the liver. Okay. Proteins, fats and water from the food are carried by the bloodstream from liver to the ovaries, and the yolk material is formed. These tissue balls fill with these yolk material and grow. The yolk material also contains the genetics of the female chicken, genes of this female chicken. Okay. When these tissue balls fill with yolk and grow, the follicle around the yolk ruptures and forms a line, stigma. The yolk is released along with this line. Okay, this line ruptures, elongates, and the yolk is released into the infundibulum. This line is called the stigma. The process of release of yolk is called the ovulation. The oviduct, when it is elongated, it looks like this. Okay, when it is elongated, it looks like this. The parts are ovary, infundibulum, magnum, isthmus, shell gland, and vagina. Okay, when the yolk is released from the most matured follicle, the infundibulum catches the ovary. Okay, the infundibulum catches the yolk. The yolk doesn't fall into this infundibulum. Okay, instead the infundibulum catches the most matured follicle, and the yolk is released into that infundibulum. Now in the infundibulum, the yolk is not covered by any substance. So it is the only place where the sperm cell is able to fertilize the egg. If the fertilization is to happen, it should happen here. Okay, if the yolk is here in the infundibulum, the sperm cell must fertilize the egg here, because while in the rest of the oviduct, the yolk material is surrounded by a thick layer of albumin. So sperm cell cannot penetrate into that albumin and fertilize the yolk. So if the fertilization is to happen, it should happen here. Okay. Okay. Let's consider this as the yolk. This as the yolk material. Then there is a small spot on this yolk. The spot through which the sperm cell penetrates into the yolk. This spot is called germinal disc. The germinal disc of fertile egg is called blastoderm, and the germinal disc of infertile egg is the blastodisc. If you break the fertilized egg, then we can see the spot on the yolk which looks like the bull's eye. And if we break the infertile egg, the spot on the yolk appears like a white dot, simply a white dot. Okay, in the infundibulum, the yolk is not covered by any substance. If the fertilization is to happen, it should happen in the infundibulum. The embryonic development begins if the sperm cell fertilizes the egg and subsides until the egg is laid. The yolk spends about 15 minutes in the infundibulum. The yolk reaches the magnum after the infundibulum. Okay, after the infundibulum, the yolk reaches the magnum. The magnum, there is another name for magnum. It is ampulla. In the magnum, a thick dense albumin surrounds the yolk. Okay. In the magnum, In the magnum, a thick dense albumen surrounds the yolk and the yolk rotates while it moving forward in the oviduct. As a result of this rotation, chaliza is formed in front and back of the yolk. Okay. Chaliza is formed in front and back of the yolk. Suppose it's the yolk and it's the albumen. Chaliza is formed in front and back. It's a thread-like structure. Okay. The chaliza suspends the yolk in the center of the albumen. Okay. In the magnum, the yolk spends about 3 hours. And then the yolk reaches the isthmus. Okay, the yolk reaches the here and go here. In isthmus, shell membranes are deposited in the isthmus. Shell membranes are the thick layers of the proteins. Shell membranes are of 2 layers, interior membrane and exterior membrane. Okay. Interior and exterior membranes. Shell membranes are deposited in the isthmus and then the yolk reaches the shell gland. In isthmus, the yolk spends about 1 hour 15 minutes. Okay, after the isthmus, the yolk reaches the shell gland. In the shell gland, thin albumen is secreted. This thin albumen moves by osmosis through the shell membranes and reaches the thick albumen surrounding the yolk. Okay. The yolk while leaving the isthmus looks like this. Okay. In the shell gland, after the thin albumen is secreted, it makes the yolk into the normal shape. Okay. It is the yolk and it is the chaliza and it is the shell membranes and it is thin albumen. This is the thick albumen surrounding the yolk. A calcium carbonate shell is formed around the yolk. This process is called calcification. And a protein substance is deposited on the calcium carbonate layer. This process is called mineralization. Gas can pass into the protein shell. Okay. Harmful bacteria cannot pass through this shell. Calcification and mineralization in shell gland. Now it is the complete egg is formed. Okay. Now the egg reaches the vagina. Hen or egg, which came first? As the protein substance around the calcium carbonate shell of the egg is formed only in the shell gland of a chicken. Okay. So for this reason, hen came first. This question can be simply even easily answered by comparing the egg towards you and the hen towards your parents. Okay, your parents are you. Who came first? Obviously your parents. So hen or egg, which came first? Obviously hen came first. After the shell gland, the egg reaches the vagina. The vagina doesn't take really an important role in egg formation because the egg is already formed while leaving the shell gland. Okay, the vagina instead the vagina takes an important role in laying of the egg. The egg reaches vagina with the small end first and the large end next. Okay, the egg reaches vagina in this position, the small end first. Okay, and in the process of oviposition, the egg flips. In the process of oviposition, the egg flips and reaches the large end first at the small end last. Now this egg is ready to be laid. Okay, arginine oxytocin is the hormone responsible for the oviposition, and the egg is ready to be laid and the egg is laid. Now you will get a doubt actually. If the yolk is in the magnum and the hen just mated with the rooster and the rooster injected sperms, the sperms can swim here to the oviduct and reaches the yolk. Now the sperm cell cannot penetrate into the yolk because the yolk is covered by a layer of albumin. So what happens to these sperms? Okay, actually the oviduct can store sperms. There are two sites in the oviduct to store sperms. One is at the uterovaginal junction and the second is at the lower part of the infundibulum. These two sites can store sperms. Okay, the sperm stored at the uterovaginal junction can get sucked into the oviduct and reaches the infundibulum. Okay, in this way the oviduct of a hen can store sperms for more than a couple of weeks. Okay, it can store sperms up to 14 days. The hen may not be needed to mate with the rooster regularly. The embryonic development begins if the sperm fertilizes the egg and subsides until the egg is incubated. The yolk spends about 15 minutes in the infundibulum. Generally, the hen's body temperature is generally 106 degrees Fahrenheit and the surroundings temperature around the hen is generally 66 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 20 degrees cooler than the hen's body temperature. So after the hen lays the egg, it cools. The hen's body temperature is obviously 106 degrees Fahrenheit. The surroundings temperature is 20 degrees cooler. So as the egg is laid, it gets cooler. Okay, and the air gap is formed between the shell membranes and the shell gland. The chick breathes through this air gap. As the chicken hatches the egg, the air gap increases and the chick breathes air through this air gap between the shell membrane and shell gland. Let's summarize the function of the organs. Okay, in which organ what is formed of the egg, which part of the egg is formed, in which organ which part of the egg is formed. Okay, let's summarize. In the ovary, yolk is formed. Yolk is formed. In the infundibulum, if the sperm cells are present, fertilization will happen. Okay, if the sperm cells are present, fertilization will happen. The fertilization is to happen, it should happen here. Fertilization. And in the magnum, thick albumin is surrounded the yolk and chaliza is formed as the yolk rotates. Thick albumin and chaliza, and in the isthmus, shell membranes are deposited, interior and exterior. This is the yolk, this is the thick albumin, chaliza and the shell membranes, interior and exterior membrane. And in the shell gland, thin albumin, and the calcium carbonate layer, and protein substance is deposited on the calcium carbonate layer. So this is the yolk, this is the thick albumin, this is the chaliza. This thin albumin moves inside the shell membranes through osmosis. So this is the thin albumin and this is the shell membranes. and the calcium carbonate shell, the white shell, and protein substance on the white calcium carbonate shell. Okay, it looks like this. Okay, egg looks like this. Okay, this look inside. If you break the egg, it looks like this in the inner part. Okay, while summarizing, ovary, the yolk is formed. Infundibulum, if the fertilization is to happen, it should happen in the infundibulum, and in the magnum, chaliza and thick albumen are formed. Thick albumen is formed around the yolk, and the chaliza is formed while the yolk rotates while moving forward in the oviduct. In the isthmus, shell membranes are formed on the thick albumen. Okay, in the shell gland, thin albumen is secreted, and the thin albumen moves towards the thick albumen surrounding the yolk through the shell membranes through osmosis process, and the calcium carbonate shell is formed around the yolk, and the protein substance is deposited on the calcium carbonate substance, and the egg looks like this. Okay, if the egg is fertilized, if they hatch this egg, it will give a chick. If the egg is not fertilized, and it is hatched, it will decompose. You can discuss further about the topic in the comment section, or if you've spotted any corrections or any mistakes in this video, you can point out them in the comments, and if you want to give any feedback, you can give it that in the comment section. Okay, that's it for now. I'll catch you in the next lecture.